All right, ready?
Yep.
We are back on Battlebots with one of the surprise robots of the season. That would be Bloodsport, which is one win away from a perfect 3-0 regular season.
I mean, we were surprised
He'll be
too.
facing off
Let's be
against
real.
another spinning weapon in Chronos. But let's start with Bloodsport. They're captained by Justin Marple. They've
Nice
had
intro shot.
impressive knockout
I don't
wins
remember them
over
recording that one.
Scorpios and
I love
Endgame.
the
And let's remember,
simultaneous
Endgame was
like
the one
hit
that
there.
had his tombstone
Too.
earlier this season. What has gone right for this squad?
That was from last year. No?
These guys
No, that was this year. I wasn't there last year.
What they did last year was
Yeah, we've got the white outline this
Oh,
year.
you're right. Right.
Oh, this shot's really cool too.
They're making it look easy. They're getting knocked
It's
out.
funny
Yeah, the
because we're
hero
like
shot's amazing with the
we're
bot.
kneeling literally 2 inches off camera, like spinning the weapon by hand, and everyone else is doing that in every other hero shot where a weapon is spinning. But it still looks so badass when they just cut that out.
Yeah, it felt super like fake and shoestring like in the moment filming it, but then like it looks amazing on screen.
Yeah.
Does he know what he's doing here tonight?
Well, you know what? He's in a much better position tonight. He's way
They've
more
really
confident.
picked up on the "we don't know what we're doing"
I know.
Yeah.
phrase.
That's been going well with his
I didn't realize Chronos
That is a
actually
good
spun
sign.
up at all in
You
the
gotta admire
P1
his
fight,
ability to bring
because they didn't
something
show it at
different
all,
to the
and I don't
table
think
here.
that I
He's
saw it
certainly
when it
doing
was
that.
on the
He's
screens
taking
in
a
the
risk.
pits either.
I hope it just works.
It's a winless team against
Chronos isn't
beat.
all magnesium anymore, right?
Smell it upset.
I don't think so.
That was
I think that was
Ringmaster.
Ringmaster, yeah.
Find out.
That was how
Yeah,
it
Chronos
No,
was
Chronos was-
magnesium last year.
Oh,
yeah,
it was?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's NHRL. Shout
We were
out
pitted
again.
next to him.
I think their ring is rolled AR now.
Yeah, because I remember them telling me that if the robot caught on fire, it would be really bad.
Oh. They have multiple
Oh.
shots too, though.
Outing against P1 in a match earlier this season. How can they move the needle here tonight?
Can you even weld
Chronos
magnesium?
is the only ring spinner in
I think
the
so.
field for a reason, and that's because it's
think
a
it's just really
very
hard.
difficult design to pull off
Yeah, I don't
successfully.
know, maybe.
Unlike full body spinners,
But yeah, that's
like
definitely
Captain
AR.
Accelerator or Gigabyte,
Yeah, that one.
that 85-pound
Did
ring
they
spins
have another fight
independently
besides
around the
P1?
body of the bot, making it
Before
Or is
this
this their
one?
second
No,
fight?
I don't think so.
gyroscopic precession,
Okay.
and in theory,
Yeah, 'cause they were
easier
having
control. Let's see if they
problems
can get it going here.
leading up to this.
That and they had to isolate in the tent outside.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, that makes it rough.
But they actually kind of seemed like they liked that. They had their like big workshop truck rolled up to the tent. Seemed kind of convenient, except for the 90-degree heat.
Regular season. What's at stake for them here tonight, Kenny?
Well, they've already pulled off 2.
I feel like we should bring back the throat cutting for.
We gotta work on the facial.
Yeah.
Well, they cut off my spinny thing.
This is Bloodsport's chance to make a meal out of the struggling Chronos
It's okay,
and
you're still
establish
getting an arm
themselves
workout.
as a true
Yeah.
top-tier bot.
We all just look not happy at all at this for this fight for some reason.
Well, we were all super tired.
So we're gonna focus on
Yeah, what
spinning
time
up,
was this
getting up to
fight even
speed,
at?
and just getting as many hits in. It's just gonna be.
I
I
don't
mean, this is
remember.
the one where they made us wait forever
Very important for us
after
to
making
Yeah.
us be ready early.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
this was
they were like,
in
you guys need to be in the box right now, and then we were like the 6th in line. We sat for like 5 hours or something.
Like this before. We've seen them fight a few times in the past. I think our strategy going into this match will just be to try to kick them into the wall, let them pinball around, hit all the walls, let the walls do all the damage for us. So far, we've had 2 knockouts. A third knockout, I think, would show really, really well for the selection committee.
Oh, I forgot to take off my safety glasses.
People do
Oh, I
that a
did that
lot.
for a while. Yeah.
Well, let's bring in our bot whisperer. He's our pinball
We
wizard.
really just like crossed the
Pete,
entire
what has
box
impressed
during
you
that touch
most
test.
about this second-year bot?
Yeah, we almost hit the other bot.
Bloodsport has done some major changes to the bot itself. There's great
For
wheel
everyone
selection
who's
we've done, so
wondering,
he's got much
yes,
better
we did
control
have a
of the soft
wedge,
wheels
but
in
it was
front,
too
hard
heavy.
wheels in the
And
back.
no, we did
Lets
not
him
intend
drift a
to
bit.
mount
But
wedgelets.
the
Those
thing to
are
watch
3D
out
printed
for
plastic
here is
mounts
that
just to
the
cover
fact
up the
that
holes in the
Bloodsport
chassis.
spins far faster than Chronos. Both these robots are counter-rotating, so think of like
Yeah, we
two
decided better to
gears.
use them for
When
ablative armor.
Bloodsport makes contact, they will most
in this
likely catch
case.
the backside of those tooth on Chronos, sending Chronos
The
flying.
tri-bar's our heaviest weapon. It's like 78 pounds, so we didn't have to spare weight for like 10 pounds or so of that wedge that we had at the time. We ended up making a lighter one midway through the competition thanks to Zenpitsen for giving us parts.
Yeah, the tri-bar is the heaviest weapon, and then it's also by far the biggest moment of inertia. It's like almost 1.5 times the energy of the thick bar.
Which may have been cause for part of the performance issues we had.
It's definitely hard to spin up.
Oh, I started to develop a little stance.
Bar stance?
Yeah.
Give it a few seasons and you'll be full Matty Vasquez, like blast.
Do your best Daniel Freitas impression. Yeah, so they spin up and then they hit the wall. And then they spin up again and we hit them. And then that kills their weapon.
Yeah, their ring gear.
Yeah, so after that hit, the weapon was already spinning up slower.
Yeah.
But we are hitting basically just a solid brick.
Yeah, at this point, nothing can really happen.
Yeah, for us, they're a 360-degree wedge where we hit like just barely the top of the side and then skim over the top. There's basically no damage we can do to this bot that we haven't already done in the opening exchange.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, even though their wedge looks like it's really steep, the fact that it's sloped at all makes us hit them, like, at best, like, 70% as hard as anyone else who wasn't sloped at all.
But then it sucks because we're not high enough to skim the wheels on top.
Yeah.
So we just can't do anything to their drive.
We barely even hit the top of their teeth.
Peter, well done. You get a gold star on the report card.
Oh, this is Predator and Prey right now. Bloodsport trying to slice and dice, but Chronos showing some.
Well, and that ring steals kinetic energy away too. It just spins freely.
Yeah. That moment there, watching this on TV the first time, that scared me because I was like, oh crap, the weapon just like stopped going after it was just spinning up.
I intentionally stopped that. I mean, I think at this point, if we waited a few seconds between hits, we could get it back up to speed, but we decided it wasn't worth just to like keep hitting them at full power because there's nothing we could do.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to cut through that.
Yeah, but obviously it looks better to show that our weapon still works.
Yeah, basically all we need now is aggression points.
You can hear Chris, like, at some point, he may have already said it, he was like, not sure. Oh, there the chain came off.
Yeah, the chain broke off. That's
yeah,
so
Kenny is saying now, like,
Will Bloodsport fire up its weapon yet again? Leave one lasting impression.
We lost a wheel in this one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the front wheels. Here's a good shot. Yeah, you can see the ring gear is just gone.
Yeah.
We lost one of the front wheels. I think it was the front left.
Made some improvements to
No,
Chronos,
it's
but that
the...
primary weapon shutting down.
Yeah, we want to go for one
Where
last
did that
ending
wheel
hit.
leave?
But I think the missing wheel caused driving issues too at the end.
Yeah.
It was hard to get that hit without careening into a wall.
Not
Yeah, that was
entirely
supposed
certain
to
when
show
it
the
was
judges that the weapon could still spin.
Actually, I think it was kind of brilliant because they're A, saving themselves for the 32. B, they were sort of trying to get
He
a good
gave us
position
so much
anywhere
credit
they could
for this
possibly
fight.
be to give them a long
It's a little
time to spin up
generous.
and then make the hit, rather than barely being spun up and getting hit by Chronos.
So remember, there are 3 different categories the judges.
The other thing is Chronos is super like grippy. We didn't expect them to be that grippy.
Yeah, I
If we
honestly was
push
surprised
them-
how fast they can move, too.
Basically just a brick.
I remember Shane came up to us after the fight and he was like, "How much would you have paid for a wedgelet halfway through that?"
We didn't realize that their weapon would be inoperable after the first 12 seconds, and that we could have actually had a chance of pushing them around without them just getting ripped off.
into attacking for
Yeah, if we could have called that first shot, we might have gone in like in reverse and then been able to turn around with wedgelets, but live and learn, I guess. You don't want to assume that the other bot is gonna have problems.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the better horizontal spinners we're seeing in the whole field right now.
And if you were a judge?
If I was a judge, it's gonna go straight to Bloodsport.
Say that with more enthusiasm, Pete.
If I was
enthusiasm.
A judge, it would go directly
I thought it was
to
funny
Bloodsport.
because they definitely didn't intend for the first half to be shown on the show.
The results from the judges are in. And the winner by unanimous decision is...
Drum roll.
Bloodsport!
Yeah, we were definitely glad to get the win, but we were tired and not super happy with that performance.
Yeah, we were all probably thinking like, damn, what the hell happened to our weapon system?
A 3-0 regular season. Is this beyond your wildest dreams?
Yeah, this is it was a bit unexpected, really.
Camera kind of came out of nowhere there.
Yeah, the cameraman was just like all the way on the other side.
I'm just like staring off into the void. I'm probably like, why wasn't the weapon spinning?
The weapon was overheating, or there might be some. We're not totally sure yet. We'll find out when we go into the bot. But yeah, we're just hoping if it's overheating, we'll let it cool down and get it back up to speed when it's cool again.
What do you think you have shown to the selection committee?
I think in the previous 2 matches, we really showed we're a good, reliable bot. This is a brand new sort of bot. We never fought a horizontal before like this. So obviously we have some learning to do. But yeah, I'm excited going forward.
Are you getting used to this, man? You're undefeated. We keep interviewing after your fight with the win. What do you think?
I couldn't be happier with all this, yeah.
So what sort of ranking would you be most pleased with?
Number 1, of course.
And if you are outside the top 10,
I don't remember saying that at all.
I guess the way he worded that,
I think so. I think we're top 10.
what would you be most pleased with? I mean, obviously number 1, right?
Like a
Fair
top
enough,
10 robot. Job well done during the regular season, Justin.
Right, thank you, Chris.
Double thumbs.
Oh yeah.
I did that after every fight, but they didn't show our interview after Scorpios.
Yeah, they didn't show a lot of the post-fight interviews or the full intros for many of the fights, except for in this episode. They did like full intros for like half the fights and a lot of the post-fights too, which is nice. Okay. So,
Yeah, if you guys remember, after when we were outside taking the batteries out, Chronos showed us why their weapon stopped. Basically, that ring gear on the top, all of the bolts holding it on just sheared, and the whole thing like dropped out.
And it wasn't like 3 or 4 bolts. It was like 12 or 14 bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as they were spinning, we just skimmed them all with the weapon on those opening exchanges, and that just we were uniquely suited to do that damage.
Wait, did we actually hit him, or was it just impact?
No, I thought that it was just the impact. When they hit the wall, as soon as their ring just like came to a full stop.
I thought we glanced over the top on those first 2 hits.
The bolts are like inside the shell.
Yeah, the bolts are all they're all flat. They were all flatheads.
We definitely put a big impact on them, though.
Yeah, shook something loose for sure, but then they just kept working. We also kept working, so it ended up just being not as exciting as we had hoped. I don't know, like, how you would knock out that bot other than what P1 did, just like sticking them against the wall where their wheels aren't on the ground.
I mean, if you're a vertical spinner, you can do some out of plane damage that does something, maybe get underneath, hit the wheels, but
I mean,
short of being able to hit the wheels.
We also psyched ourselves out so much leading up to that fight because we were pretty sure that we were going to get uppercut. So we spent the whole night before preparing for uppercut and strategizing and putting blade assemblies together. So we were a little bit disappointed that we didn't get uppercut, but happy to get a win.
Also kind of relieved to not get uppercut.
Yeah, I want to fight uppercut next season.
For sure.
I think it's
we need that rematch.
Like A, we're both Boston teams. B, we had that like upsetting loss where we basically killed ourselves in the Last Chance Rumble in 2019. And C, they're also like an insanely powerful weapon robot that spins the other way.
Yeah, there's definitely a story there, and it would be quite an explosive fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. That bot, like their spinner just goes through anything that's in front of it. It's crazy.
It would be a driving match, I think.
Have they ever gone to a judge's decision?
I'm trying to think. They must have in 2019, didn't they? Didn't they have a fight where like their weapon went out or something?
They did have like a rumble. You know what? You're right. There was some rumble that they were in where their weapon just like didn't really work, but it wasn't aired. It was in like a basement tapes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I feel like both them and us had like pretty major improvements after last year.
Yeah, but their weapon system was like completely overhauled with this like whole crazy custom motor setup, which apparently is literally like a Prius electric motor.
Yeah, Uppercut has never gotten a judge's decision. Every single match has been a KO. They have 6 KOs by win and 2 KOs by loss.
Yeah. The only other horizontal spinner that Bloodsport has fought was the 4 Horsemen.
Yeah, I guess technically true. So in terms of damage, it was really just the front ablative took a couple hits at the beginning, and then we had the motor bearings go super crunchy at the end of this one.
Yeah.
Which was behind part of our spin-up issue. And I think it was the housings around the bearings had really thin aluminum that was inside the core of the motor. And the aluminum pieces just fell out of the motor after the fight when we were taking the robot apart.
Yeah,
so that kind of scared us.
It was a weird design choice on the motor manufacturer's part.
We manufactured those motors, so so yes, very weird.
So then after this, we had to go on a hunt for bearings that were the same inner diameter, but exactly 1 millimeter larger outer diameter, so they could press directly into the stator.
Yeah.
I thought that you said that that Scorpion had a similar stator setup that you just like copied that portion of.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a Scorpion motor, but we replaced the hub part.
Yeah.
With our own. So yeah, it was the same bearings from that.
Yeah, because in 2019 we had the windings sliding off the hub into the rotor, which was a problem. So the new core was supposed to solve that issue, and it did solve that issue.
It did.
Yeah.
It introduced a new one though.
Yeah. Chasing a moving failure mode.
Yep. Yeah. It's basically.
Yeah, we ended up driving like 2 hours each direction almost to pick up those bearings. And we got there like as they were closing.
Yeah.
And picked them up.
We had Jordan call them to make sure we wouldn't.
Yeah. But we couldn't have cut it any closer. And we would have been pretty screwed if we didn't have new bearings after the next fight.
Yeah. That was so lucky. was that on a Friday too?
I think so, yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, I was super lucky. We checked like right at the found just the right place.
Thursday, but our fight was the next day. We had another fight Friday.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I'm trying to see if from the timestamps on the photos that I took after that fight, how late it was. The only photo I have in the pits that I'm pretty certain was after the fight was at 8:41 p.m. So maybe it wasn't as late as I had thought originally. But
I think we had a late night the night before, psyching ourselves out about Uppercut, and then we woke up the next morning, and we were ready early for the Chronos fight, but then there was another long wait. So
yeah, we were definitely like in the pits until midnight the night before the fight, and then we probably got there at like 8 a.m. or something the day of too. So
yeah, we stayed to midnight like every single night almost.
Pretty much, yeah.
When we were there, especially as the competition kept going along.
Yeah, we were one of the last teams to leave every night.
Yeah. I think one night, didn't we even stay past midnight and they were like yelling at us to leave?
Yeah, it was usually like us and Hypershock.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna forget that I woke up so early just to get there before anybody could possibly be using the Tormach machine. And then like we show up at 6 a.m. and there's just like 2 people there and one of them's using the Tormach machine.
Oh gosh, yeah. Someone beat us by 5 minutes.
Yep. Good times. Alright, well, I think it's pretty obvious that we made it into the tournament, but you'll have to wait to see what seeding we got. Anyone have any final thoughts?
I mean, I feel like the main things people will be interested about are why the weapon keeps slowing down and why we didn't run a wedge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we want to talk more specifically about the weapon and what we think was happening with the controllers, or like we talked about the bearings, and then was it after that fight that we changed from PWM to voltage?
Oh, it was a duty cycle to current, right?
Oh yeah.
That was later though.
That was. Oh, can't say that. Okay. Can't say that. Cut it.
Well, we're cutting this. So at this point, we'll
bleep that.
We're doubting that it was a thermal issue, right?
That we don't know. We still didn't know because we tried to get telemetry to work and it didn't work from like 6 inches from the robot. We couldn't get the wireless transceiver that's supposed to project a kilometer range to work 6 inches away.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. So, but we had done the math and we didn't think it was supposed to be thermal issues, and we had noticed a software bug sometimes with the motors even when they were free spinning. So we were trying to figure out how we reconfigure these speed controllers to maybe avoid this problem, but it was pretty mysterious because it wasn't really repeatable, especially because we can't just spin up and hit stuff in the test box.
Yeah, so the only time it's repeatable is when you hit something at full speed. And there's a lot of like voodoo that goes on with these speed controllers, and teams like change settings until they find a configuration that works.
Yeah.
But
Robert,
there's no
everybody who is
deep understanding of how those settings change things. And like our weapon last season, I mean, we fixed the biggest mechanical problems with the stator dropping out, but as far as like introducing a clutch, which would be, I think, the actual solution, we for the most part kept the weapon assembly the same, which introduced different problems with both the concentricity problem with the hubs.
I think that's a topic that should be its own video, because we could talk about that for like half an hour.
Yeah. I mean, we should like at some point make like a concise video about, maybe after all of the episodes air, like a season recap of like all of the problems that we ran into and the solutions for them.
This concludes the Chronos fight recap video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more Bloodsport content and our future fight recaps and everything else that you heard us talking about that we'll be releasing later on in the Battlebots season.